So this is the cue to the quintessential Audi's SUV, the Q7, the 7-seater that we've all been waiting for. Almost a gap of 2 years, the Audi Q7 is back in India. Yes, it has been launched in an international market, but India finally gets to see it, drive it and buy it. So what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead and do the first drive for Audi Q7. So first up, let's talk about the design. As you can see, it is crisper, bolder, sharper, and nothing like what it used to look like on the previous generation of Q7. It's not that chunky and clunky. It is definitely very, very aggressive. See that massive grille up front, these laser matrix lights, and absolutely beautiful DRLs. And guess what? These DRLs that you see are exactly the same what you would get at the back, and they're also LED matrix light at the rear, which is great. And also look at these massive air vents for the airflow, and this looks really, really nice, really sporty, really sturdy. And as I'm saying, this doesn't look like the family Q7 anymore. It looks like really aggressive, really sporty. Well, a glimpse of RS-Q8 definitely in there. So you can see good mix of chrome, shiny chrome, matte chrome, this huge black grille, and all this is all for the airflow. And all this is done to give this massive V6 3-liter engine a lot of airflow, which is really, really nice. And once we drive, we'll talk about that in detail. And then you see the huge Audi logo. It's really, really big, you know. Underneath is the camera, because this car gets 360-degree camera package, so you have cameras all around. And definitely not to be missed, the Quattro badging, which is very, very prominent all throughout the car, whether it's the interior, the exterior, especially on the sides. You would see the Quattro badging is really, really nice and sporty right up there. I would have definitely liked if they had some animation on them, whether, you know, I've seen some international videos, I've seen some B-rolls, you could see those light coming across like an animated thing. It's not there on this one, but definitely really, really sharp and aggressive looks. Let's move on to the side and see how sharp and aggressive it is. So you can see on the side, like I said, the Quattro badging is really, really prominent. You get it not just once, but twice on the sides. First is in a form of sticker, and the other one is on the side panel. It's embedded in the side panels of the door, which is really, really nice. And you can see this sharp line I was talking about is running across the car, takes its cue from right here, no pun intended, and goes throughout the car, running here till the tail lamp, which is really, really nice, because from the tail lamp to the headlamp, one straight line, really nice. But that also deviates and give you a more aggressive and sporty thing right here. You can see that. So this line deviates, forms into two, and becomes a Y, and gives you more structure on the doors. So you can also see this big arches to support the 19 inches wheelers that you get here, and this arches above that also to give it more dynamic, more nice feel. And also this car comes with air suspension, so what you see right here can be adjusted according to the driving terrain. So you can use the air suspension to raise or lower the car, and it also happens automatically when you change the Audi drive select. Now, because this is a 7-seater massive SUV from Audi with a good great ground clearance, what you get is a platform to step on, to get in and get out, which makes it really easier. I wish there were handles over here, you know, to hold them and get in, but you can obviously hold the A-pillar and get in or get out. So that's convenient. Getting in and getting out is convenient. You can also lower it down if you want to impress somebody, lower it down, get inside, and maybe raise the suspension again. So also on the side, you have to really praise Audi for this. Even in the A-pillar, you get this glass panel over here. Then the glass windows are huge for both the doors, and the last quarter panel glass is really, really huge, because there is a third row for people to sit. So you get really, really a third row, and you also get a panoramic sunroof, which is really nice. Now, if you hold the key like a lock position or unlock position for more than 10-15 seconds, all the windows and the sunroof will close itself. And similarly, if you keep the unlock button pressed on the key, all the windows will lower down automatically, which looks really, really nice. And it is a feature that I find it very nifty, and I think the VW group has been giving it for almost a decade now, because my 10-year-old VW Vento also has it, which is nice to see this been continued. Lastly, I'll also mention this use of chrome, which is very, very subtle. It's on the roof rails, it's on the window panes, looks really nice. So now let's go to the back, talk about the rear and what are the changes on the rear of the Audi Q7. As I said, the back, the rear is also very, very aggressive, especially those lights. The LED matrix light on the rear look really, really nice. Then you get the Q7 badging, 55 TFSI and Quattro again. Now, why is it 55 TFSI? Because India is only getting a petrol variant, which is a 3-liter V6 engine with 500 Newton meters of torque on the Audi Q7. Now, let's talk about the styling. We've talked about the engine, we talked about how it looks, the badging and all. Look at this chrome line running from the lights. You know, it's integrated in the light. The indicators, the turn indicators are here, very sleekly put there, which is really nice. Then again, what you saw in the front DRLs, the same pattern is here, which is really, really nice again. Again, good use of chrome all throughout. You can see it here running across the light. You can see at the bottom on the rear section. And also, you would notice these huge reflectors on the bumper. Well, actually, they're not reflectors, they're lights, because according to the law, the lights are on a moving part. That means if it's on the boot, then it has to have another light to it, because by law, you can't have a light that goes up, because once you're parked and your brake light and turn indicators are not there, nobody coming from the behind would see the car or the light. Just the reflectors are not enough. So Audi has very cleverly integrated a complete set of light with reverse light, turn indicators and brake light in the bumper. So these are not reflectors, they are a second set of rear lights which is cleverly integrated in the Audi Q7. Again, you would not see silencers over here, but it's got two exhaust pipes on the left and the right for that V6 engine that you get in this car. Then obvious things over here are these sensors and the rear camera, the wiper, the integrated brake light with the spoiler and the shark fin antenna. So that's about the rear. You've seen the rear, the front, and we've talked about the design elements of the exterior. Now let's get inside the car and talk about what's changed inside. So finally we're inside the Q7 and you can see it's all new. It's really, really nice, good finish, really plush, really luxurious as expected. And before we start, well, it's still missing, never mind Audi. The virtual cockpit is not the only screen in here now. There are two more screens and they're really, really nice. They got a touch interface, which means you get a haptic feedback when you touch them. Now Audi has not let go of the physical buttons for volume and power and other things, which is really nice. So it's not necessarily all touch screen. You get a lot of controls physically also. Similarly, you get a lot of controls on the steering wheel. It's a really, really sleek steering wheel. I missed the Quattro badging here or something like that on the steering wheel. It's not there, but then they've made up for that and they've given you a nice Quattro badging on the dashboard that glows along with the ambient lighting, and you get like tons of ambient lighting control over here, and it also changes according to the drive mode, which is really, really nice. I also like the fact that you can control the brightness of the ambient lighting to the minutest level, going from almost 0 to 100, which is really, really nice. And I really like the blood red combination. You know, it looked really nice with all the interior, this piano black and this texture of onyx wood on here. And then you can see the air AC vent running across the dashboard. Looks really nice. Now there are nifty features in the interior which I'll first point out and then move on further. First thing, why do you keep fiddling between the sunshades when you're driving? You know, when the sun is here, you take a left cut, you go ahead and you see the sun is right in your eyes, and you keep doing that throughout your drive, which is really, really nonsense according to Audi. So they have done this, given you two sunshades, two sun visors, and not just the driver, the co-passenger also gets the similar feature. So both the sides have these two sun visors, which is really nice, so that whether it's the front or the sides, you're always covered. And obviously you can adjust them, which is really nice because this is a huge window pane. You need to cover that. So that's adjustable. Another nifty feature that I really liked was integration of speaker system, the Bang & Olufsen speaker system in the A-pillar also. So you can see right here, set of tweeters, the mid-range speakers, the subwoofer, all here giving you a really nice orchestra sound, really, really loud. Though the FM quality wasn't that great, I would have expected a better FM quality, but once you connect it to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, or even through Bluetooth, you can get great audio output from the system. Also, I like this nifty touch lights. You just need to touch them. You don't have to, find the button. You don't have to, worry about where to switch it on from. Just tap it. It becomes a habit. You don't even have to look at it. You just tap it and it switches on and off, which is really nice. I was talking about the virtual cockpit and all these virtual screens, which is nice. But Audi you were the pioneers, you were the spearheads of launching virtual cockpits. I think it's time now, I've said it previously also in other videos, that you need to evolve the virtual cockpit now. We're bored with this whole map interface, and then, maybe you can see the song and all. You need to get something more out of it now. You need something new. So Audi, that's a feedback that the virtual cockpit should be doing more than it does right now, which will be really, really great to see. Now let's get to the infotainment panel over here. You can see all the options: radio, media, telephone, navigation, which is all included in the car. You click on navigation, you get live navigation. There's one problem, always mention that you can't input addresses on the Audi MMI interface through voice. So whenever you try to do that, the voice navigation is not accepted in India. You'll have to put it through the touchpad. So I'll show you what happens. So I click on search, and if I go through voice, it says it doesn't work. You don't want to take your eyes and hands off while driving. Now this might not matter if you plugged in your phone through, Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, because then you'll be using your voice command and, like Siri and Google Assistant. But if no phone is connected, like right now, the phone is in wireless charging, but it doesn't have wireless auto or wireless Android Auto or CarPlay. That means if you're dependent on the car's navigation, that means you have to enter the location or the address manually, like type it, which is really, really bad. Now, let's move over that. Then there is the car mode, which gives you settings for all the things in the car. You can do the Audi Drive Select, which gives you a lot of options like dynamic, auto, comfort, efficiency, all-road and off-road, because this is an off-road vehicle. And according to the Drive Select, it also raises or lowers the suspension, whatever it is. Then you go to a car detail mode, which gives you like the tint angle, the acceleration, location in longitude and latitude. So this comes in really handy if you're going off-roading and you can see all the tilt angles, altitude and everything right up front on the screen. Then you also get efficiency assist, AC, light and vision. Light and vision gets you ambient lighting and the outdoor lighting, parking aid, driver assist, and a lot of other things. We'll talk about it in the full review when we go for a long drive in this car. This is just the first drive, so giving you a quick glimpse of everything. Right underneath the infotainment panel is the AC panel, the air conditioning panel. Now this car also has perfume, ionizer and all the things, so you can control it right from here. You can also adjust the temperature or keep it auto like I would like it. So it's on auto right now, works great without any problems. Now let's talk about some space in the car. So you get your holders over here, the glass holders. You also have a key holder where you can put in the key right there. You also get a lighter port to power your devices. You also get this nice big armrest which can be adjusted. You can move it up and down, which is really, really nice. You can lift it up to give you more space to keep stuff like wallet and other things, your house keys maybe. Then underneath that is two USB Type-C ports to power your devices and to get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and also a wireless charger where you keep your phone, and it's almost like 100% now because it's been charging since we've been shooting. The Audi gear shift, which is nice, good to hold, but some changes to that would also be really welcome because we've been seeing this for years now. And then you have the handbrake, and then there's an automatic button because this car is a mild hybrid, which is like powered with a 48-volt battery that you get in the boot, and that makes it really efficient because it can coax on the highway for almost up to 40 seconds, and that makes it a more efficient car than it was in the past. Now talking about the spaces in the car, you also get a glove box, which is really, really soft touch inside it, and also you get a space for the driver over here where you can keep a lot of things because it's really deep. You can keep all your tickets, not traffic tickets, but parking tickets. And also you get this Bang & Olufsen speakers in the door. And so on the driver's side, you get memory seats. So you can set up to 1 or 2 drivers, and you can obviously set according to your comfort level. And then you have heated side view mirrors, which have integrated turn indicators and 360-degree view cameras on both sides. Another thing that I really liked was the child lock button right here. And it also shows with the light that the child lock is on. So the door cannot be opened, the windows cannot be lowered. Talking about the seat comfort, you can adjust them through the adjustments on both sides. The driver side or the co-passenger side, you can lower them, move them, get lumbar support, and even extend them a bit. One thing that I think was a miss over here, that the steering has to be adjusted manually. Now this car might be priced around 80 lakh rupees because the earlier version was 90 lakh rupees, and I'm thinking that it's coming in only one variant, the petrol variant, and will be manufactured locally in Aurangabad. That means the price will get benefit because you don't have to pay all those duties. So for that price of a car, I think this should have been automatic one, not like a manual thing to do. Now let's move to the back and see what's in the rear, because that's where a lot of entertainment happens. So finally, we're in the rear seats. We're not in the rear seat, actually we're in the middle row seats, because this is a 7-seater that we get in India, and very comfortable again, because obviously it's a massive car, and you can also recline these seats according to your comfort. You get a good recline angle if you want, like up to this, and you can have this armrest with cup holders integrated, very nicely done. Though it's really thin, if you look at it, it's a really thin arm holder. So it is definitely a 7-seater car, but if you're counting 3 people sitting at the back, but for the third person to sit in the middle, because of the central tunnel, the foot have to be kept on the either side. So you can't keep your feet like this and sit throughout the trip. It's like squat position almost. So you have to keep it like that and sit comfortably, which in a way takes a bit of space for the passenger sitting on the left or the right. But then again, you get a lot of comfort and a lot of features that makes your drive a pleasurable. Panoramic sunroof, these huge glass panes, these curtains, and entertainment screens for both passenger, which can be attached to your laptop with an HDMI port. You can also connect your devices, and you can also get audio output from here. You can connect your USB device. For example, I click on videos, I can put in a pen drive and start watching a trailer. Now the problem I think with this is, the screen is, though it's nice and it's really an add-on factor for the rear seat passengers. Firstly, it is based on an archaic Android, which is Android 4.2.2. So you feel the interface is a bit laggy, bit sluggish. So the Android is not really updated up to the mark. And also the other problem is, for some reason the sound is coming just from this speakers, not the Bang & Olufsen speakers throughout the car. Now talking about other things at the rear is your 4-zone climate AC, so that you get a driver side control, a co-passenger side control, and either of the passenger on the rear get their own controls for the ACs with the help of touch panel. All throughout is touch, and underneath that is again a lighter adapter and 2 Type-C ports. What I liked about the Audi cars was that you had an option of a normal USB and a Type-C. That is all gone. This car is all Type-C. Well, that's moving with the future, moving with the present, because most of the devices are Type-C now. So if you don't have a Type-C to Type-C cable, you're stuck. So on the door, again, you get ashtray right in the door inbuilt, and again Bang & Olufsen speakers for the rear and the bottle holder. You also get AC vents for your feet, for your face, and also in the pillars. So I think we've talked about the rear seating, the comfort. It's comfortable. You get a lot of legroom, a lot of headroom. You get an armrest, you get ISOFIX seats, you get curtain toward the manual, which is a downside on a car of this price. You can move the seats like this from the floor. You can recline them, because this seat has to be moved to get inside on the third row. So let's do that. Let's move to the third row and see how comfortable they are, and are they meant for adults or it's kids only. Let's go ahead and check out the third row. So to get into the third row, you have a lever here which really tumbles down the seat. Then you have a push button. You click on the push button so you can lift up the seat. It's got hydraulic inside it, so it makes it easier for you to pull. You don't have to put in all your force, because thanks to the hydraulics, you get a lot of help to pull up the seats. Once you pull up the seat, you see 4 buttons here. The buttons are for the third row. You can lower them down from here itself. You don't have to go to the rear of the car to lower them down. You can do that from here. You can even lift them back again. The middle row is where you have to put in a lot of effort, but for the third row, it's all automatic. So let's go inside and see how easy or hard it is to get in. So once you're inside, my knees are really in my mouth right now. So there is a lever on all 3 seats, like a pull ribbon. You pull that and you can move those seats also. So all these seats get a ribbon for you to sit at the back and do it and not wait for somebody to help you out in that. So once you're at the back, if the seats are really at the maximum level, from the floor, you will feel stuck. You will feel stiff, because my knees are literally in my mouth right now, and I'm really in a way sitting in a squatting position. Forget about thigh supports. There's only back support right here. There's nothing at all, because these seats are really towards the extreme level. So if I adjust these seats a bit further up, I might get some knee room. Few good things that I liked at the rear is that you get good set of speakers right there. You get your cup holders. You also get your own seat belts, which are very nicely hidden inside the pillar. So you can just pull them out, and once not in use, they're not just lying around. You can just put them back inside the body, which is really nice. So if you want the third row to be utilized by adults, you have to make sure that the seats are not at the maximum level towards the rear. You have to move them a bit front, and then you can see you get a lot of knee room. exceptionally good knee room for the third row. But if they're at the maximum level towards the third row, then obviously you're stuck. So I've adjusted these according to the first, like a little bit further ahead, and I've got a decent amount of knee room. Obviously I'm in the middle row right now, which is tough to sit in any car, but then again, decent amount of knee room once you adjust these seats a bit further up. Now let's try getting out of the car, how easy or bad it is. Let's do that. So to get out, you can use this lever, or you can also use this ribbon. So simply pull the ribbon, the seat lowers down itself. So push this lever to the extreme level and then the seat will lift. And thanks to the hydraulics, see how easy it gets to get out. Now again, to get out, you'll have to hold something because it's not easy, because it's really low down here. So you can just hold it like this and get out from the car. It's not an easy task, no doubt about that. So as I was saying, this car doesn't feel this huge, this massive, a 7-seater SUV. It's so good to maneuver. The steering is always tight and nimble and in control. You feel really nice. I have been driving it in sports dynamic most of the time because I otherwise felt that the gear shifting is taking a bit of a time to shift. So I've always been driving in sports, and I've been really liking how it performs, and all thanks to the V6 engine in this car and the Quattro technology. The 500 Newton meters of torque available to you makes it for a really cracker of a 7-seater SUV to drive around. And the best part is that you can change the suspension, you can lower it down, and the modes also do it for you when you switch it from drive select. So that also makes it a different experience each time you're driving the car, because the AS suspension really takes in all those bumps and doesn't make you feel that you're really in a very bouncy SUV. It's really in control. The dampers really take control of all those hustles of the potholes and those bumps, and really makes it a really smooth car to drive. As I always mention, Audi cars are really hush and plush. This one is no exception. Really absorbs the sound really well. The sound insulation is always on point from Audi, and this one you also get like a lot of features like active lane assist, that really takes control of the steering. It maneuvers your steering. You can switch it off. You can only get warning also, but you also get this feature with the steering vibrates and takes control of the car, and then you can really let the car drive itself. Yes, features like autonomous braking and all, but you do get active lane assist on this one. But since it's our first drive, we haven't been really able to test the capabilities of the car because we just got few hours with the car, and the reason is that it's just about to launch in India and we're driving it before the launch. So by the time you watch this video, the car would have launched because we would have released this video by then. The cost we're expecting for this car is around 80 lakh rupees, and that is ex-showroom, almost touching 1 crore on-road depending on the duties and taxes. But thankfully, this car is being manufactured in India, so you won't have to pay those import duties and all this time around. In terms of consumption on fuel, I think because it's a massive engine, even though it's got mild hybrid like a 48-volt battery with the car, I would not expect more than 10 km per liter from this car. Because right now we've been testing the car, it was between 8 to 10, and that is under test condition. When we were really parked in one position, it was almost 3.8 km per liter, 4 km per liter. And before we end this video, do let us know where we should take the Audi Q7 on a road trip, because this is one of the most capable luxury SUVs you can buy. When we do a full review of the car, and a road trip review would make a lot of sense on this car. So that's it. Thanks for watching the Unbiased vlog. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. Peace.